For the record,
Lynn Farrell, member.
David Peter, member. David O'Neill, member. Tom Rhodes, member.
Christie Bonner.
John Turnquist, building inspector.
Thank you. We have 3 hearings this evening. I will read the public notice and then request the applicant or their representative to give a brief explanation of the relief sought. Anyone that has a comment should raise their hand and state their name and address. After the comments are received, the board will try to render a decision on each of these applications this evening. The first application is Maria Barrato, 29 Old Oakley Post Road. Variance for a parking request. Public notice. Notice is hereby given that a public hearing of the Town of Austin zoning board of appeals will be held on Monday, March 30, 2025 at 7:30 p.m. on the application of Maria Barrato, 27 and 29 Old Oakley Post Road, in person at the John Paul Rodriguez Operations Center, 101 Route 9A, Austin, New York, 10562, and by Zoom video conferencing. The property is located at 27 and 29 Old Post Road, in the unincorporated town of Austin, identified on the tax map of the town of Austin as section 80.18, block 2, lot 17 and 18 in the NC Neighborhood Commercial Zoning District. The applicant is seeking a variance from the terms of the zoning code of the town of Austin, chapter 200-17, Neighborhood Commercial District, and 200-29, Parking and Loading, paragraphs A, H, C, and D, to allow for parking of 3 commercial vehicles where 1 commercial vehicle is currently permitted. Application materials and plan titled Maria Barrato, resident, 29 Old Albany Post Road, submitted January 16th, 2025, are available for public inspection of the Town of Austin Building Department or online. All interested persons are invited to attend the public hearing to be heard on this matter. The public can send written comments by email to the building department of townofaustining.com or regular mail to the Town of Austin zoning board of appeals, post office box 1166, Austin, New York, 10562. Please feel free to contact our office by phone if you need additional information. By the order of the zoning board of appeals, Sal Carrera, chairman, dated February 20th, 2025. For my board members, and for the record, we are going to be discussing 3 issues this evening, and they all have to do for an area variance. So the criteria for an area variance that we all have to take under consideration read the following: whether an undesirable change will be produced in the character of the neighborhood or detriment to nearby properties will be created by the granting of the area variance, whether the benefits sought by the applicant can be achieved by some other method feasible for the applicant to pursue of the area variance, whether the requested area variance is substantial, whether proposed variance will have an adverse effect on the physical or environmental conditions of the neighborhood or district, whether the alleged difficulty was self-created. This factor is relevant to the decision, but the fact that the difficulty was self-created does not preclude granting the area variance. With regards to the current application in front of us, we do have a letter that was received February 25th, 2025, from neighbors that live at 1 Cliff Drive, Austin, which I will read into the minutes. Dear members of the zoning board of appeals, my name is Carl, and I reside at 1 Cliff Drive, Austin, New York, in the home that my husband built over 50 years ago. Weather and health permitted, we hope to attend the meeting scheduled for March 3rd, 2025 at 7:30. We would like to address the following. Has any board member visually inspected this property and the location? The answer to that is yes. The drawing shown only existing parking, but does not show what or where additional parking is proposed. When one exits Cliff Drive and attempts to make a right or a left turn, it is very difficult to see any cars or coming on Old Albany Post Road. Proposed installation of evergreen trees along Old Albany Post Road, with only hamper turning from Fifth Drive and even more. What size are the commercial vehicles? Currently, there are usually approximately 6 cars parked in the mentioned area, which we believe belong to the people who live there. And so far, we have seen a large box truck there. To have 3 of these size commercial vehicles there in addition to all of the cars would only be detrimental to the value of the neighboring homes. This could also create more congestion and increase traffic in the area, which would also become a safety issue. And does Maria Corrado, who owns this property, actually live there? Thank you for your attention to this matter. I hope you understand our concern regarding this proposal. We would appreciate if you could respond by email if you have received our email. That's Maria and Carl Curl located at One Cliff Drive. So I will give the opportunity now to the applicant and or its representative to give a brief presentation to the board, and then we'll get into some questions and answers.
Not sure where it's from.
You can say right here, give us your name, address.
Good evening, my name is, Chairman, my name is Manuel Quesada. I'm representing Maria Barreto with regards to his application. So you made it very clear exactly what we're looking for. We are in a AC zone. And sure, as you stated that before you did actually drive around the neighborhood, we should go do. And it's a very mixed area within the flag. Sure, and that was done many years ago when the town changed some of the zoning regulations. Some of the neighborhoods abutting in the rear of that are in R5. We have a couple more general building areas which not even like half a block away. But this is very commercial. So the intent of this is single family homes, as was stated. They do have a home office in there. Many years ago, prior pandemic, more or less, they were trying to establish this movement. So they have, which is the last case. And the intent is literally just to be able to allow them to park two additional trucks that they have. They're not more than 20 feet long. But we totally understand the neighborhood. We're trying to alleviate a lot of the stuff and trying to put some landscape on it. One of the questions that they had is how many parking spaces we are providing. We are trying to cover. So there's two and a half parking spaces right now. What we are proposing is to add 5 parking spaces legal in this area by going to gravel, approach landscape. And in regards to the line side itself, we'll be able to, if that's a concern, which will obviously move forward, we'll be able to work with the building department in regards to the line of sight coming out of. So that's much or less overall our presentation. If you have any questions,
Yeah, I do.
answer.
Yeah. Well, thank you for the presentation. Sir, you want to come in here?
Yeah.
Because. Thank you. So if you're representing the applicant, Maria, does she live there?
No, she does not.
Okay, so as the application shows that she lives at 240 Spring Street, so this is a rental.
It's for family. Well, it is a rental, it is a rental, yes, and a family.
Had requested after going by the site a couple times, the additional 2 vehicles that the application is calling for, and I assume these are.
That is correct. Yes.
Does Maria have any interest in this business, or this is straight a rental?
When you say business, meaning I'm not.
Does she own the business, or does she not own the business?
Yes,
Is
she
she a partner in the
does
business?
she does own the part owner.
Partner.
He used to be her husband, unfortunately, pandemic, he passed away. Her son took over the main portion of the business, so it's her son and myself.
It is a landscaping business.
That is correct.
So currently, I mean, the zoning requirements, and I understand fully that, you know, this is the residential piece of property, and that's why you're here, and the whole surrounding area, go up and down, over the Post Road, there's a lot of commercial there. You're allowed one parking space for a commercial site. And there are a number of cars on the site. How many families live in this?
There's a one single family, one single.
So I assume when the letter that was written by neighbors that a number of cars are parked there daily, they would be the workers.
All of it, that is correct. I don't want to.
So I mean, I understand why you're here. It is a tough situation to be in, especially for the neighborhood commercial district where, it specifically states no more than one commercial vehicle as defined in this chapter, okay, would be allowed on the site. So that's the biggest problem that I personally have. I don't think it's whatever my other board members and anybody else that wants to give any input into it. Is that, the zoning codes were written for specific reasons with regards to this. And again, in my opinion, this is a residential lot, and to have more than one commercial vehicle, and you're asking for three, probably, with additional parking for employees there, that does cause a problem. And it is, Albany Post Road is a real tough in and out from everybody's side.
So again, want to kind of clarify a little bit. It isn't a residential, but it's a multi-use lot zone itself. So you are allowed to have, when I was looking at that, it was some of the allowable uses for that. It was a police station, you can have business, a restaurant, you can driveways.
But one commercial,
Which is, that is, again, that is correct.
we're not discussing.
No.
6 cars parked
That is
there,
correct.
or anybody driving in.
So
and
there is a
out over the course of
multi-use
the
area.
day. And I understand what he's trying to do, but, that's why I asked for pictures of,
Yeah.
these are not just a small pickup truck.
No, they're not. Again, they're landscape trucks. They're not
Yeah, I mean,
construction, they're not, there's no construction equipment besides the trucks, that actually most of the time will be, during the day won't be there. Obviously, in the afternoons, maybe in the weekends, occasionally they may park there. So that's the intent of that. It's not for them to be parked there all day.
I'd like to have each one of the board members ask or make comments before we get to the public input.
I don't have any questions.
I don't have any questions, but I think my concerns are similar to Sal's in that, I understand that it's a mixed use neighborhood, but I have concerns about proximity to other residents in the neighborhood. I appreciate the fact that there's screening on one side or proposed screening on one side, but there are houses, drive that I just feel the proximity to those houses increase the amount of commercial vehicles.
Totally understand that, and just a caveat from now on, we're not asking for just the traffic. I think these overall.
The thing that this board has to consider, traffic has increased, well, the village and the town of Austin. This is a specific piece of property, and it's a specific zoning with regards to commercial, and that's why it's here. So all these other, less than attributes with regards to overall people. I fully understand what you're saying, and I agree with you that I spent a little time there watching the traffic up and down and seeing all the commercial vehicles going, up and down and where they're parking. But this is a residential lot. Yeah, I wouldn't have this problem in front of the board if it was, a commercial lot. We go by whatever the commercial rules and regulations are for commercial vehicles. Well, comments.
Two, I want to
It's a busy road, but it's particularly in this lot, right next to a stop sign, which is very problematic. Yeah, it's one of the most problematic. I live farther up on in Quaker Bridge, so I know that. And I'm also influenced by the neighborhoods, but we do not get very many letters from neighbors. So that's influenced Ms. Boardman in her concerns, their concerns.
I'd like to open up to the public. Anybody here in the audience would like to give a presentation?
Names.
Please give your name and address.
This is my husband. Her husband,
Thank you for coming.
thank you. My husband built our house. So we lived in that area. And we appreciate that you did, when I wrote the letter, I did not know how you do this. So I appreciate that you came and you looked at the parking area and you looked at its location. My number one question, like I said, we've seen the probably 6 cars there, and occasionally, just occasionally, a large bus trip. But when we saw this and they were going to park 2 more commercial vehicles, I didn't know, can I see what size these vehicles are?
I asked the same question and you're very welcome. That's our job to go take a look at every applicant. But I want to know the size of the vehicles also when they are a large box truck or landscaping business, which I fully understand.
And we said it was a small landscaping business, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, this was our main concern and, the presentation, I wanted to answer, and that waiver that the waiver language is not good for them. I mean, we have our car is a sedan, 22 years old, as long as I'm here. And it's more difficult for me to get out of that road. I'll admit that most of our kids come, they have these larger vehicles when they come to visit personal property, but I thank you very much for listening and that you answered.
Thank you for coming here this evening and
Mr.
giving us
Chairman,
your input.
can I just chime in on an issue that came up and has come up in about this conversation? Is that what the applicant is proposing in terms of the trucks that will be on the property now? Variances run with the land. So if this board was inclined to grant it, it would have to be incredibly specific to those specific types of vehicles of those size. Otherwise, anyone could take the opportunity to put what you're considering 3 commercial vehicles of that size. But if the variance runs with the land, then someone else could come in. If it was a condition, the variance, that someone else could come in and say, well, I can put 3 commercial vehicles and they could be much larger. So I just want to make sure that's clear to the board and to the applicant and to the public.
Thank you. We're still in the public part of this here. Any people on the Zoom meeting that have any comments?
No hands up, Seth. Okay.
Sorry, technically challenged here. Hi, everyone. My name is Ruth Ann Worden, and I live at 30 Old Albany Post Road. We've been there 34 years now. I have to say I had a very hard time, and it's my issue, being able to hear clearly the discussion. I just did want to say that I appreciate the hardworking nature of my neighbor, and in that way would want to support him. Overall, though, for our own sake, having the neighborhood lean more residential is really much better. So I was going to suggest that I don't know if this is something that can be done, but should the board grant the variance, that there might be a privacy fence. I know there is a fence up now, but that there would be a privacy fence that would block the view of all the trucks. Thanks so much for your consideration.
Thank you for your input and meeting with us this evening. I'd like to take a vote for closing the public hearing if there's no one else online.
Move to close the public.
Second.
Okay, public hearing is closed.
It's out and then just. Before 2 seconds.
Go ahead.
So I just want to kind of answer some of the questions that were raised and the decisions that you guys made. Obviously, we don't have an issue with putting privacy. In regards to the attorney's comments, I think was fair enough to say there will be some caveats within the resolution that will actually restrict or prevent the future use of any commercial information. The intent for them is not to get bigger than what they are. The intent was always to be a small business, family business. That was always everything. There's nothing, there will not be change. If there's something may change in the future, obviously the location. So that's.
Thank you for the additional information. I'd like to take a vote with regards to this application, and either approving or disapproving the addition of 2 additional large commercial trucks that basically go against the neighborhood commercial district and parking more than one truck there. And also with the guidelines of the area variance. So anybody on this board in favor of this application?
No.
No. No for me?
I'm comfortably no.
All right, so let the record show, sorry, that the application is denied. And, my recommendation would be, since there's, plenty of commercial parking down the street. Fine, to take a look and read this as a residential neighborhood and a residential piece of property where we have the right to park one commercial vehicle. For now, with regards to personal part of those in and out of their further business people to get on to their work. So I appreciate you coming in.
Thank you.
The application is denied.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, you too, be well. Oh, this one.
Second application. Notice is hereby given at a public hearing, the Town of Oxon zoning board of appeals will be held on Monday, March 3rd, 2025 at 7:30 p.m. on the application of Jennifer Moran, 11 Riverview Farm Road, in person at the John Paul Rodriguez Operations Center, 101 Route 9A, Oxon, New York, by Zoom consultation. The property is located at 11 Riverview Farm Road, the unincorporated town of Ossining, identified on the tax map in the town of Ossining, section 80.11, block 1, block 8, and an R31 family residential district. The applicant is seeking a variance from the terms of the zoning code of the town of Ossining, chapter 200-21, one family residence in the residential district, 200 attachment 2, both regulations. The existing lot size is 21,841 square feet, where 30,000 square feet is required, and has 71.77 feet of lot width, where 125 feet is required. Project proposes a second-story addition over a garage area and renovations to the existing single-family residence. Application materials and plans titled Moran Residence, originally dated July 30th, 2024, with latest revision dated January 20, 2025. Prepared by William Romford, architect, are available for public inspection of the town of Boston Building Department along line. All interested persons are invited to attend the public hearing and be heard on this matter. The public can send written comment to the email, townofboston.com, or regular mail to the town of Boston, going to Board of Review, post office box 1166, Boston, New York, 10562. Please feel free to contact our office by phone, email with this information regarding the zoning board of appeal process, 4762-8419. By order of the zoning board of appeals, South River Chairman. And again, I'll refer back to a criteria for area variance, which I hope I don't have to read back into the minutes, but everybody has a copy of it in front of them. So if representatives would speak to us with regards to this.
Yes, we have.
I'm the architect here on Zoom. I can describe the project quickly for you. One of the owners, I think, is sitting in the audience, the husband somewhere, and the father too. All right, so as you said, this is an existing lot with a single-story, one-family residence on it. We plan on removing the one-story garage that's in the front of the house, but has a side entrance, and replacing that garage with a slightly larger garage, about 130 or so square feet, and placing a family room above it. Right now, it's a flat-roofed garage. And then we're going to renovate the interior space. It's an existing 3-bedroom. We're going to take 2 of the bedrooms and put them in a new second-story addition towards the rear of the house with a shed dormer, and reconfigure the whole first floor, keeping the master where it is, if you look at the plans, and taking out the 2 bedrooms, converting them into a dining room, larger master bath, hall bath, and then the dining room that's there now is going to be a 2-story foyer, and part of the living room is going to be shrunk to enlarge the master bedroom so it could have some double his and hers walk-in closets. So, and again, we're here because the lot size and the width are undersized. As you said, it's 30,000 required. We're about 21,841. We're adding 580 square feet of family room space. And then on the second floor, we're adding another 764 to a total of 1344, which brings it up to just over 3,000. But then you take away the foyer, which is a double story. So the total house is going to go from around 1,700 square feet to 2,890. And that is the gist of the project. Oh, we are, by the way, relocating the driveway from the side of the house to the front. So the length of the driveway is going to be increased from around 40 to 80 feet long, 76. So those are the changes we're proposing. And I'll take any questions.
Thank you for that presentation. I was extremely impressed with the set of plans that you sent to us, and I fully understand what you're doing and the requirement that's necessary to make this happen. I really don't have many questions with regards to this, if any. So I'd like to open it up to really my favorite architect here on the board, and go from there.
Yeah, I think although the variances are about lot size and minimum lot width, I think the addition is very appropriate for the scale of the house and the lots and the sections.
Anybody else on the board?
No, I have no objection to it. I always like to mention when there's a room above a garage to make sure the carbon monoxide detectors work.
Yeah, that's required throughout the house. And
Yeah.
We're going to have closed cell insulation in the garage, the ceiling of the garage as well. So it'll be a tight house.
I'm very familiar with this house because I've been in it quite few times in the years back. I think the move, bringing the driveway around the corner is probably a good idea too. I agree.
It's hard to understand with Zoom a little bit. Can you repeat that again?
Well, I just think moving the driveway that was done in this design is helpful for the road and the general. traffic.
It's a major compliment, take it.
I'm taking it. I just didn't quite get it. I appreciate it.
Anybody, in the audience?
I live at 17.
Please stand up and give your name and address.
Okay, my name is Susan and I live on 2 houses away. I'm just interested in it and I'm perfectly happy with it, but it's just interesting for me.
You're more than welcome after the hearing to go to the owner and see what's going on. Appreciate you coming in. Any public?
No, Sal, no hands from the public.
Okay.
Well, actually, I've got some comments if it's okay. Can you guys hear me?
I hear
Yeah.
her.
We could hear you.
Fabulous, thank you.
Um,
So I live on Riverview Farm Road, and it's a very narrow street to come up that street. So I'm a little bit concerned in terms of what you're asking with regard to this variance.
Okay, what's your concern?
My concern is that there's only the ability to have one car drive down and one car come up. And I live at the cul-de-sac and I want to make certain that I can get in and out. In addition to that, selfishly, I work from home and I haven't made my own repairs to my home because of the disruption and noise and construction vehicles and things of that nature. It is a narrow road. And there is not a whole lot of room where to put your equipment and trucks and not to mention the noise value as I'm trying to make a living.
I understand your concern, but you know, construction always involves demolition and noise. And unfortunately, I mean, I can't do anything about that. That's as far as the narrow road, this is actually improving it because right now it's a double wide driveway towards the cul-de-sac. And I'm sure you noticed that some people park along the street up there as well. So this is going to take away a lot of that congestion towards the cul-de-sac part of the street. And relocating the driveway to the front, I don't think affects really any traffic in that area. It actually improved it because it takes a lot more cars off the cul-de-sac area.
How long will the project take?
In my estimation, something of this size shouldn't be more than 6 months.
I just want to be clear, that's not what
Yeah.
the purview.
I was gonna get to that.
Okay, sorry.
That's no problem at all. Never apologize. Is there anything else?
That was it. Thank you.
Thanks.
What we, per the architect and this board, when it comes to approvals or any type of construction, as was stated by the architect of record, is that, you know, this board has no control over noise. The building department does have control over the times and the days of construction, whether
Right.
8:30 in the morning until 4 or 5 in the afternoon. But we have no control over that. Our decisions are made pursuant to the zoning code, and that's what we're here to make a decision on. But thank you for your input.
And I also don't have any control over, I mean, I'm not the contractor, so I was just trying to answer her questions, really.
Thank you.
Yep.
Anything else on Zoom?
No other hands up, Sal.
Okay, thank you. I think the vote to close the public hearing.
Move to close the public hearing.
Public hearing is closed. All in favor of granting this variance, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Let the record show that it's approved. Go get your applications. Do the right thing with the building department and good luck. I think it's going to be a great addition.
Thank you so much.
Very much.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Okay, the third, application this evening, public notice. Notice is hereby given that a public hearing of the town of Boston zoning board of appeals will be held on Monday, March 3rd, 2025 at 7:30 PM on the application of George B. Hernandez, RA, AIA, and posted at the John Paul Rodriguez Operations Center, 101 Route 9A, Austin, New York, 10562, and by Green Company. The property is located at 95 Copeland Dam Road, owned by Antonio Foods, the unincorporated area of town of Boston, identified on the tax map of the town of Boston as section 81.17, block 1, block 5, in the R15 one-family residential zoning district. The applicant is seeking a special permit for the terms of the zoning code of the town of Boston, chapter 200-31.2, accessory apartments on single-family lots. The applicant proposes to repair and renovate an existing storage shed barn recently damaged by fallen tree to include a design for a small accessory apartment. Application material and plans approved resident accessory apartment dated November 25th, 2024. Head by George B. Hernandez, RA, AIA, ARQ Architects PC, are available for public inspection at the town of Boston Building Department and online. All interested persons are invited to attend the public hearing to be heard on this matter. The public can send written comment by email to the Building Department of the town of Boston.com or regular mail to the town of Boston Zoning Board of Appeals. Post Office Box 1166, Austin, New York, 10562. Please feel free to contact our office by phone if you need additional information by order of the Zoning Board of Appeals, South Carolina Chairman, dated February 20th, 2025. Again, this is really has to do with accessory apartment. And you have to have your presentation, sir.
Jorge D. Hernandez, architect. Like you mentioned in your notice, this is a 54,000 square foot property on almost on the intersection of Lincoln Road, 95 Copeland Road. It's an R15 zone. There's another work that's being done on the shed or because of damage from a tree, but we are concentrating today. What brought us here is the accessory apartment above the garage. And we'll walk you through those things. So this is the what is here right now, the second floor. And as we repair the top floor, we're going to maintain the garage as it is. And we have a separate entrance. And then upstairs, the proposed accessory apartment will have 720 square feet, and it has one bedroom. The architecture, we're not changing anything on the existing building. We're doing some renovation on the shed that's on the side. We're gonna have one room, which is the bedroom. There's a view, which is again not changing from the side. And this is the other view from the garage side. And as we go through the supplementary regulations, I just want to point out that this was a livable area prior to my client buying the property, which was in 2021. The lot size is oversized for an R15. There's no proposed change to how we access the space. It has an independent entrance. We will maintain that. The proposed apartment is going to be 720 square feet, which is under the maximum required, and also be less than 33% of the main house. There will be one bedroom, have 4 parking spaces, existing on the property, in the garage, and 2 on the side yard here,
there's 4 parking spaces, but we should run into one train that we have, there's 4 parking spaces. That's, I think it's a great presentation. It fits all with the requirements of our accessory apartment rules and regulations. I don't have additional questions. Guess over to my architect. Comments?
No, likewise, it's a great presentation, and I appreciate the fact that you're not building out the full barn area to keep it within the allowable square footage, keeping it modest.
Questions from the rest of the board? Comments? Pretty straightforward.
Good presentation.
Yes.
Thank you.
Move to close the public hearing?
Yes. All in favor of granting the accessory apartment?
What?
Aye.
Aye.
Was there anyone from the public?
No, no one's in public.
No, you don't have to worry.
Incorporated plan? Would you ever be interested in my participating on the boards? Because they're always.
I'm serious, I sit with the town board and they are always looking for people to be interested.
So if you are, I can tell you who to come. Because there are other boards.
Not this board is full.
But if you're interested in being on a board or participating, like. Sorry, it's overwhelming. If you enjoy this.
Let me get.
Bye, Margaret. Well, I'm still-